Hello, everybody. I'm Brenda, Power Medicine Woman. So, I'm just setting up my side desk here. Look at the part. Oh, I have to remember to stop kicking that table there. And there's Robin. How you doing, dear? So, I'm letting the energies come in differently through me. I'm not sure why. It's so good to see all of you. And remember, yep, get love. If you get a card, remember to share it into groups and stuff, and you get another card, and you can always tell a story. It's a weird energy. It's still trying to figure that out. Hold on. So yesterday we had a group of people from the other side that represented the suicides that happened. So that was really good information. And it really touched on somebody. It was a message just for them. And, so that was awesome that I got feedback from it. You never know exactly what is going to be said, what needs to be said, who is it going to touch, because it can touch many people than one. I don't understand why this necklace is doing that. Fine until all of a sudden, I feel like they're messing with it. My hair, the hairdressers are just not into their thing. My curling iron, flat iron broke. It's like, what do you do with hair that goes kapoof? And oh well, I'll eventually get to the store. What to talk about? It's funny because there's a lot we want to talk about. But where are the people? Maybe that's what the energy is that there's that disconnection. Not sure what that is about, but that's okay. We got plenty to talk about. So I had a client, and one of the marvelous things about it is they knew they knew. Okay? They knew all this information, but didn't know how to get from here to there. How do you do it? How do you get from there to here? How do you do it? The necklace was going to bother me. And it was beautiful. It was refreshing because you can see how they knew. And one of the things that's very important to notice is that when a person is in the state of not really knowing that the next piece of information is that they are being controlled by their emotions, by their programs. These emotions and programs come out at the age that you recorded them or identified with them. And as the people, I feel crooked. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to pay attention to. The energy will create distraction. I could get. Because it is all about energy. It's all about emotion. Emotions are chemical peptides. Those chemical peptides get to control you by helping you feel with the environment, help feel what you're thinking. But when you overthink it, and you constantly think it, and your 41 thoughts per minute becomes what you're thinking and what you're feeling, it becomes a cycle. Then it can become stored in the body. Now, trapped emotions can affect the physical, but they will totally dictate whether you are stuck on your path or you're moving forward or in whatever direction. But it can happen. And that is the main thing I look at people. Somebody comes up, okay, so why am I stuck? Can you tell me why? Yes, because the dance of the meridians tell a story. They don't just hold energy, they hold emotions. They hold how you view the world, how you look at the world. And so it's so important when you begin to look at how all of these come to play. Hey, Lenore. Well, Robin, did you need to get my bangs tricked and then all this, all of that? Massive going on. So emotion. So here's the interesting thing, what the ego does. The ego is just a lens. It's a simple lens that you look through so you can see with your soul, your consciousness, to see this form, matter. And the matter comes through at a certain vibrational rate. And when you first look at something that you don't understand, sometimes you just look at it. Sometimes you can train yourself to fear it first. And sometimes you just get very curious. There's all these different emotions to approach something. But it's when your ego, when your electromagnetic guiding omni apparition, your ego, the lens, when you over-identify through the lens and you attach an emotion to the story, when you attach to the story, and when you cannot unattach, and it becomes an unresolved story. Now, people walk around and go, yeah, well, that's my life. Yes, but do you know that when you begin to resolve the emotion out from the story, the memory becomes a memory? Those emotions, you no longer have to attach those emotions to the memory. You can have emotions, but you're not owned. You understand? People say, well, hey, you shouldn't own things. And, they're talking about material. Back in the old day, they used to say, hey, don't over-attach to things. You can't take it with you. But do you realize you can take your emotions with you? You don't notice it after you die. It's in the program, your soul, contract, everything. And then when you recycle back through, you gotta go and do it all over again. You gotta look at it from a different perspective, the kaleidoscope of life. What story are you going to create? Because when you do make that soul contract, you're writing in it, and you're saying yes to this decision, and then you have all these variables that appear. Okay? That's what's called the quantum field. You have all these choices. And then when you say yes or you say no, it takes you in this direction, and then a whole nother options open up. But a program is you go and repeat the same feelings, repeat the same emotions. You say yes to something even though you want to say no to it because you're programmed, and you only get the same options, and you repeat what you've done. It's like eating your favorite cereal in the morning. It's either you get sick of it or that's just who I am. So again, you're not destroying your ego because it's not really a separate entity. It is a lens. It's you that's over identifying by attaching yourself, your consciousness, you're the observer. And when you observe something, it's like you're looking through that lens. All of a sudden, you become that emotion, you become that. And it does shape the way you think, it does shape the way the next decisions are, but if you're repeating that program, then you just are a program, if that makes sense. So, just double checking here. So yes, I do paid readings, so those that are asking, you can get more than just a minute and a half, or you can get 11 minutes of my time on the air for just $11. Otherwise, you pay, is it 15 minutes is $30, which is still good, because you can, in 15 minutes, you've already seen you can get a lot done. The best question to ask is, why is it that I always make my husband show up this way? Or why is it that this always happens to me? Looking at the program, seeing what emotions, keep repeating the story, because those emotions end up creating not just your personality, but your temperament, how you're always going to respond. And you do have control over that. The more you dig into the layers, it's like, oh, I just don't feel like working out today. And you can just say it's just because. But for some people, you can blame it on procrastination, but sometimes there's an overtime hopelessness. And that is, you've done it once, didn't achieve, done it again, you didn't achieve, you do it again, you don't achieve again, and over time you're like, oh God, this is just hopeless. Because you're running through the end of your timeline, you already know what the results were that many times ago, and you're like, oh, and then you focus on the pain, the sacrifice, or you focus on that end result of nothingness. Okay? Remember, to hit love, you get a card. To share, you get a card. And if you share it in the group, that's awesome. See, and the thing is when they own you, and you know this, the other thing is that you have a choice now. And the beauty is that we have healing tools to help you what? Cope, handle, deal, pacify. Wait, what do you mean? What do I mean? Did you know when you have an incident, you have to figure out how to cope with it, pacify, deal with it, manage? You gotta make your world make sense again. You gotta have sanity back. And you'll go into irrational, irrational, or if you're overthinking, then you're going to go into more of the left brain irrational and cut out any ideas from the right brain. You're going to be all over the place. You're going to latch on to the feeling that makes you feel like, oh, I can do this, I can do this. Sometimes we cut those emotions out. Sometimes we push them down so deep. Sometimes we just blame it on others. Because sometimes some of those choices and things we've done, we're like so ashamed of. And we need to take a handle on the fact is that we didn't know how to really cope, handle, deal, and pacify. We have tools now that can actually help you take those emotions, all for those memories, all for those. And when I say memory, let's say it's just trauma, some type of trauma. You have the moments before, you have just the prior seconds, you have the time of, this afterwards, and in the future. There's a pattern, and then a strategy, and what did you do to avoid it again? How can you get the same results if it's good? And then if you have, the self-talk, but you do hold all of those. It's in there. And if you use your constructive side of your mind, then it's not really remembered. You're using something that you're constructing, trying to think what the other person thinks, what's going to happen. And that's pulling on emotions that may not even be real, but you're looking for emotions to make sense of your world. Okay? So important to understand that you can let this all go. You don't just come for reading, you can come for so much more. I want you to get this. I mean, understanding your world is so important. It's like, why am I sick? And you finally get that result from the doctor, and you're like, oh, I knew it. And then it's like, everything's falling into place. But take it to the next step. Why? Sometimes that why, there's a first moment, and then it's the moments after. So it could have happened at 2. So you're walking around with your 2-year-old self without realizing it. But then that same incident gets introduced to you at 4. And you're supposed to know it now, and you're like, ah! And you come up with a different answer than you did at 2. So now that one stuck. 2 and 4 stuck. So you're running around with those programs. And you keep doing this. Sometimes we can't go just back. We have to go to the, on 51. So I have to go back, and then something happened at 48, and then 36, and 32, and then sometimes you have to go backwards because we pick up some nasty ass habits that helped us to try to control those feelings because we couldn't cope with it then, and we still can't cope with it now, and it just comes a snowball effect. So what's important is that you need to learn yourself. Don't just ask for a reading. Don't just, and the reading of the future, when people say, oh, am I pregnant? Let me tell you, the body is amazing. The soul can come and go, and if you're not quite ready or the baby's not quite ready, then your body can give a false positive or weird other things I've seen that happen. Well, I get the job tomorrow. Well, here's the thing. Let's look at your pattern. Because your pattern will actually dictate whether you're going to get it. And you change those inner world. And how you do anything is how you do everything. But if you change that inner world, and you end up doing something different, and a new result will happen. So you can't create something with the mind that created it. The state of mind that you're in, that created it. Your 2-year-old self. And you're thinking, but I'm older now. Good luck with that. If it is a set program, then you're going to be using your 2-year-old mind self to solve the problem that it couldn't solve the first time. So it's so important to understand these little things. Okay? Emotions are the barometer to where is our energy. Emotions, thought patterns, you know. I watch people with depression walk around, and sometimes their main thing as a kid is it's not just sadness or rejection. It is, what did I do wrong? My mother, when I was little, my brother died. My mother was so distraught, trying so hard to raise the rest of us kids. And I think there were still 5 of us. And I could feel her energy was gone. And she'd look at me, she'd try to do what she can, and it was just, and it's like she'd bust out crying, and it'd be like, what did I do? And then remember, a young child is gonna. We learn empathy though. A child does need to learn to have empathy so it can bond more. And if you do not begin to learn that, then it becomes an I-it issue. Okay, and I-it is that I am looking at you, but I don't see you. I don't bond with you. I make you invalid. I need to go communicate with somebody that's going to, it's the I-it. The I use when you have this relationship and it's you and me and I and you. It's just, it's this balance. But when people go through pain, their emotions are everywhere. As in the case when my mother was heartbroken, I became an I-it because there was a part of it couldn't bond. She tried. And it wasn't until later, after so many years, that she was able to. So in a big piece of it disappears. And when you do have a lot of traumas, I have to help people to put their spirit back in the body. And sometimes we have to remove the pain of the emotion so that the body can come back in. So it's so important to begin to understand how you do things. Okay, so yeah, people overeat. And those are habits, and then that gets stuck in your system. Just listening for the sound out there. That was a weird sound. Anyway, when your body, when you don't understand how to communicate with it, and you can't cope, you do go through those things. Now, there is a certain amount of when something happens, you do need a process that's a natural process. And usually it is trying. It is to convert for students. But don't take the presidency there. You don't need to go there. Okay? Somebody asked, can you manifest someone else opening up and speaking their feelings to you, or does it push them away if you focus on it too much? Okay. Every event's very personal because it's to do with the soul contract. But she said, can you manifest? And the only way you can really manifest is that you have to make sure that your inner program, if you have people that are constantly closing down when you've opened up and you do this, then it's a pattern. It's a program. You go in and you would heal why you would have that. Like, for instance, if a person had that, so where they always shut down, then you have, of course, there's going to be overtime hopelessness because you're used to seeing it, and helpless if you don't know how to change that. And that could have been something that you responded as a kid, trying to figure out how to help. Maybe you just repair it. You begin to feel the way you hold the pictures and the emotions on that. You change the inner program, the inner world creates your outer world. Yes, you can manifest somebody to open up to you. Um, will it be the person that you want? It could. It could. You have to be totally responsible for how you're projecting your world and how it shows up to you. No one can show up to you any other way than you let them. Okay? And if, like for instance, you're in a relationship and they have a lot of pain and they have bursts of rage, did you see it as a child? Did you experience it as a child? If you do understand that the little child and the person that did it, they're no longer in your space, so a new character has to come along and play that role. When you begin to feel that inside of yourself, how you know when they burst out, or you begin to feel that, and you begin to feel like worthless and stuff that came out of it, you change that inner world. You can. I mean, I'm when I'm in with relationship with people, and they go into that space, I look inside myself. Okay, I can't cope with this. So then I'm going to go in and I'm going to notice that feeling, and then if there's any emotion that pops up, I will use my own whole therapy on myself, which will really change. Because then when I'm finished, I go out there and I thank Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Meaning, I know things can change. I believe in that. I see them whole. I see myself whole. And I don't expect it. I don't force it. And then all of a sudden, people start showing up differently to you in a good way. There'll be a turnaround. It takes two of you to create a moment. And then eventually, when it gets too much, then let's say you're with the wrong person, you're going to eventually start to zig while they zag. Okay? The reason I speak and don't just give readings right away is because I'm not just a psychic. I'm not your average psychic. And I don't feel that you should have to go through life with suffering. I know. You are hardwired for joy. Just don't know how to get there. And slowly, I will put people's names down. And when I do, then we'll begin to read. If you want a paid reading, you go to PayPal, do that, and then I can read you right away. Okay? And the read I'm going to do is going to be a minute and a half. It's going to look at your emotions. It's going to look at the energy. It is the energy in your aura. So the more you share and the more that you're going to get a card. If you can't get me to read, then you still are going to get a message, one way or the other. It's for some wolves, not outside, but other side. The other side here. Ah, what is that? I feel like all of a sudden now I'm being projected into a mountain area. I hear a stream and I feel a mountain. It's like a spring day. It's not just. Sometimes I can pick up people's when they're watching TV or when they're eating a sandwich. Um, and thank you. I mean, it's people feel guided to me. Yes, because there's more than just a reading. You will wake up and you're like, I know more than what I know. I know there's something else I need to know. And it was beautiful working with this person because all of a sudden it was like, oh, well then I can just talk to you in a different way. You can just see all the information sinking in, and it's like, yeah, I think I'm starting to get answers that I've been thinking about. It's coming. The best part is to do the work. And any of you not realizing that I'm on, hit notification in my fan page so that you can be told. I usually pick Monday and Tuesday, so it's very set in stone. Depending on what day you're at and where you're at. But in South Australia, Monday at 1 p.m. and Tuesday at 9 p.m. So we do it that way. Somebody's here and they'd like to do so. Too much. That's funny. Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm glad it resonates because your soul is hungry and it's looking for you to resolve some issues, to look at it in a way that it can be heard. And it's fun and it's good to be able to hear what your soul's saying. Hopelessness seems to be a big one for people. I have the word hope follow me all my life. And if you notice, right there, hope. And then you got little hope. Uh, throughout my whole house, there's words of hope. Few phrases, sometimes the word hope's not in it, but it's inspirational. It's so important to allow yourself to understand this isn't hopelessness. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's so dark, and you're trying to dig your way out of the dark. And as soon as you see that little light, you have this hope that, oh my God, there's an air pocket. Oh my God, there's a way out. Oh my God. And when you begin to know that there is a way to solve this, you'll start aiming for it. And when you get enough of enough bullshit that happens to be your life, just look to that hope. Look to that light. Every day, I would say, thank you, Spirit, for happiness. Because that light, or that hope, no matter how dark it is, you can find hope. Okay? You will turn on a switch inside of you if you allow yourself to move past that it can't be done. What did I do wrong? That self-talk is so nasty. If you're growing up that was told you that you had to denigrate yourself in order to be a woman or a man, then you need to learn how to stop denigrating yourself. If you feel like you're supposed to be a people pleaser just so that they'll calm down, their overexertion of energy, you need to heal those steps so that their energy means nothing to you. You can still love. You just need to learn to receive love back. Okay. Oh, yeah. Hope followed by faith. Absolutely. I have all the faith in the world that I'm connected to spirit. I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have those two follow me. It has helped me out of many dark places, many dark places. So there is an issue with my sound. I wondered about that because my last show was the same way. Got nothing around it. Hopefully by Friday, it'll be an issue. It'll be so far behind me. Do you understand? I have an opportunity to get my computer fixed. And I can recommend the guy if you're in Adelaide. He is so good. I mean, I had such an issue with my one computer. He goes, click, 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 click. And it's like, whoa, okay, good. And I trust him. And I'll tell you more after I'm getting, I believe we're going to get a computer built. I'm not sure for which way we're going as far as refurbishing or brand new. We'll find out. So all the details. So do I sound muffled to anybody else? I might have to be on the lookout for a new mic that I can have up here so it doesn't get, and you know what? It could be that it's bouncing off my new area. And did you notice it's not as dark? I have a little bit of color. I like the dark, but it was still too dark for me. All right. I'm going to learn how to have paper ready when I'm ready. I must have took it off there. Good enough. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I see I'm going to put down. And once I say your name, don't type anymore. So I'm writing down Nicole Louise. And these people I'm saying, you're going to get your minute and a half read. Then there's Jordina Robinson. And I have to write it a little bit clearer because yesterday my handwriting was so atrocious. And yes, that's not going to fix my ability to butcher people's names. Muffled and far away. I don't like that. I really don't. I didn't move this computer, so I have no idea. So I'm going to put Jamie, P-A-I-K-E-A. I'm going to love reading your comments. Tanya, Cook. Okay, I'm going to butcher this one. Rajni, C-U-R, K-U-R, and then R-U-Y-H-T. So that, and then Sophie. Okay, now you've heard your name, not anybody else that's here that wants a reading. You've heard your name. Double checking. So, Lenore, you don't want a reading? I hope everything's okay. Okay, so anybody else want a reading? I'm putting your name on a list right now. So the question is, can anybody hear me? Because if this reading is a bust, or this show is a bust, then I don't know what to do about it. All right, Kaylee. Robin. Brenda Dreyer. Okay, well, at least you guys can hear me. I'm not sure, and like I said, hopefully it'll be fixed by next show, so we won't ever have this issue again. Okay. Does this help at all that I moved it closer? Oh, I have, all I did was pull it closer. Hopefully it could be the echoing off the wall. I'm writing down R-A-H-I-N-A. Oh. Pamela. Pamela Flores. I'll put next that. All right, so I worked with her and cleared space. Let's see how that goes. A bit better. Okay. See, and the mic is there's nothing next to it. I made sure everything was clear. Ever since I moved it over here, it's has a different sound to it. But thank you for working with me and cooperating. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with Nicole Louise. I got to set my timer first. Oh. Okay. That song, Superstition, is really strong in my head. I'm not going to sing it out loud. Why are we singing it? Somebody that likes French fries loved that song. Okay. Their energy was kind of lofty, overpowering. He says, well, you said to come in and let's talk. So it's a man. What? You're going to tell me what's stored? Okay, so Nicole Louise, what you have stored, you saying crap? Ah, so there's a particular strategy you do. Whenever you feel like rejection is going to happen, they're saying that you go into indecision, like you can feel it happen. So you go indecisive, and then you become very discouraged. You feel attacked. Again, they go so quick, they're like seconds apart. You feel the lack of control. You feel, what about me? And then you feel invalidated. This all happens before they get a chance to reject you. Okay? Just be aware of that pattern. Somebody came through. Somebody says that there's this pattern. I would tell you to tap it out. Make an appointment with me to break that. Jordina Robinson Manser. You have looks like a puppy dog or a little fluff dog that's older, but tails up, excited and happy. And it says that you always smell the awkwardness. So I don't know whether you have this dog in your past but you have this dog that's on the other side that's hanging with you now anyway. You smell the awkwardness. And why? Well, they're saying it's because of your seventh chakra. What happens to it? You become bashful in your seventh chakra, your connection through the right brain, through spirit, somehow just kind of, it doesn't disappear. It just, you can't receive from it. And so then sometimes you may feel, oh, it goes into a program of living through others. And you literally can feel that you can't trust yourself. Not then, but now there's a party that can't, so you distrust yourself. And then you do some self-talk of disdain towards yourself because there's a party that goes into being very self-conscious of your body, of what I say, of what I say in my actions. So do you mull over what you've said to somebody? You wish that you could have said something different, so you look for a different response. Okay, so I'm looking at, I'm adding a new name, Savannah, whatever. No, there's no air vent, Brenda. There's nothing there. All I can think of is that there's the wall behind. It's a dry erase board, and then I've got this cabinet that's where I'm pointing. There's a cabinet, but it's far away. I mean, it's far away, and I'm thinking it's echoing off. See, that's what I thought was a fan running, but there's no sound. The only fan is in the computer. I wonder if I might have to get a cooler what do you call this? What goes underneath with the desk? Although that might make some sense too, though. Does that, okay, I had a something to help raise it. Maybe that was echoing in it. Candy Easley, I'm going to put, you are Kathy Esley. I'm going to put your name down too. Thank you for sharing. Remember, you get a card. As soon as I see where it's shared and they bring it up, then I'll put it. It's better with headphones. Well, that's interesting. All right. Now, Katrina, are you here? Because I can put your name down too while we're at it. I got those two. The next one up is Jamie. Jamie, the one that says Paike, whatever. You know who that is. That's really. So I'm going to put down Melissa Foster. I'm making a list right now. Some of the people that just come in. I'm giving a minute and a half reads. Katrina, if you're still here, sweetheart, I can. And Camilla. Yeah, I've had to learn to do this when the moderator can't be here. Yeah, that's you, babe. I'll get you in just a second. I'm gonna. All right, so the Jurne Wagner, I put you down too. Okay, so now, Jamie, we're gonna. Ready? That was a jolt. Okay, now they're saying coffee, 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 coffee. I don't know if you like the smell of coffee, if you have somebody that's here, but somebody, like in the mornings, I feel like you feel like you're being, somebody on the other side is actually with you. You think about them and they appear. You just don't know that they appear, or maybe you do. You have a lot of stories and pictures in your head, and they brought you joy. They're saying that they watch you do, you take the shit from people, and they call it self-abuse. They say you take the shit. And they said that you take the shit because it's an automatic response of when you were 2. I think she knows this already. But it's that exertion of power. So it must have been somebody you knew because they said, I put upon it. But somebody that you knew, you watched that. Why? You're saying this about you? No, there's a failure. There's a failure and disapproval. And so then it's like you're addicted to those emotions. The disapproval. Underlying all of that, there's an addiction. It's not that you really want it, but at the same time, you have that feeling. And chemical peptides create addictions. And they said that you have to make sure you always have to reach a certain point of being made to feel like shit. Now, you do this to yourself, like you eat something, you do something, you have to get to that end stage of, I have to feel like shit. Yeah, it's definitely a pattern I can feel. Okay, next one is Tanya Cook. Tanya Cook. I got all these walls being built around me. I'm not even sure what the walls are about. But I feel like the corridors are just like, I don't know if I'm in a dream. I feel like maybe I'm in a dream. I feel all these tall walls and corridors. It's as if I was a kid going to the school and it's just so massively big. And they're trying to say that they're things that have great height, kind of you feel awkward and you may not even be knowing that it triggers and it's causing my innards and everything to change. And I feel like that it could build up to having a panic attack. So there's literally, you got triggers, certain triggers. They're not pointing out that it's completely white walls, but they're tall and they hold a shadow. And there's a part of you that kind of feels freaked out by that shadow, if that makes any sense, okay? You have to have a clear definition. So the part of you has to always make sure you get certain things defined. Why? Because you don't want the contempt from people. So it's like you've learned from time and time again that if you, okay, they had to resolve it. So as long as there's some clear and the definition is good, and then everything will be safe. Fat. Oh my God, where my adrenals are. So your body likes to go into a particular mode. It could be a panic attack, but it has a habit. I literally can feel my body uh, changing that feeling. I wonder if I did this, if that would change the sound. You pay attention. I did something different and see if the sound feels different. I'm going to put down Emma McCuban. Emma, if you want a reading, thank you for sharing. You get a card. MCCUBBEN. And Melissa, I already have you down. Kathy Clark, you'll be at the bottom of the list. If you can hang around, I'll give you a read. You just let me know. All right, so now that name, I'm going to butcher it, and I'm sorry, but it's RAJNEET, and then I think it's KAU something, and then REAT. If you're here, that would be great. Whew. And if the sound is better and it's not as muffled, let me know. That means I have to fix my backdrop. Okay, here we go. And Rajneet, something like that. You're always having to go to the left of something. Like you have to look for it, and then you stop, and you're like, and then you go and do your other stuff, and all of a sudden you feel like you're looking for something. It's an interesting feel, and it just, I keep wanting to go left. There's like something, I don't know if it's a habit. They're saying no. It's the way you're manipulated into behaving. You had to behave a certain way. Really, it changes the frequency. So I don't know if you have balance issues. You know what I mean? Inner ear issues, balance. They're pointing to the frequency of my left side, and may not even be aware. Okay, is your energy balancing? No. So so there's more energy in the right side of the body than your left. So the communication of the meridians on this side are not communicating with the meridians on this side. So you may have more complications with this side of the body. That's what they're referring to is the left. Is it frozen? No, it just is not communicating. I would look at acupuncture on balancing. No, I mean, you come to me, I can do it, but it's too hard to do right now. Resonating energy, you put it out, you pick it up. You pick up other people's energies, and when you do, there's a part of you that's like, so there's a certain signature of people that you feel, and then your body immediately pushes them away and says, no. That is the energy that's actually throwing your body off. So I'm just going to ask, is it a person, planetary, location, environment? It's other people's energy, so it can be anybody. So is there a particular emotion with that? It's people that can't let go. So you may find trauma buddies. Okay. So if you find trauma buddies, then you'll say no, but you can't help but to keep repeating something. Okay. Sophie, Christopoulos. You're all gonna love me because I can't sing. Sophie, um, it's clear. It's unclear or clear. It's oh, no. I gotta stop the timer. What deck of cards are you pointing to? No. Normally I don't like to do cards when I'm doing a minute read because you get a card usually when you hit like and there's something I got to do here. Yeah, let's go. Butterfly card. Is it in here? How many? One, two. Now my head is hurting like you wouldn't believe. I don't know why. Uh, so you have something in the past that you've been trying to heal. Okay. That healing of the past. We're going to find what that is real quick because you're holding on to sentimental feelings, which keeps that connected. So what you're addressing is looking for the sentimental feelings. You're actually having a battle within yourself, which means you have conflict. You want to do something, but you hate it and you love it. You know what I mean? A conflict. So as you're trying to heal this particular thing, they're saying at 2 years old, the thing that they want you to heal is how I'm not going to be that when I grow up. So you're putting energy into the not, and that energy you need to take out. Now, the sentimental feeling is the person that arrested your development. They said, I can't say anymore because they said that you'll know what I'm talking about because something happened to you that was not very pleasant as a child. And we're going to respect that and not say any more about that. So, that's what it's called a butterfly. Before I go any further, understand that whatever it is that happened, there's a controversy of the conflict. One side feels good, the other side says I made you feel like shit. So it becomes very confusing, and that is, you can do the healing on your own. All for that. You may want to do paid healing. We can get through a lot in 30 minutes. Okay, so Kaylee Bull. Now I'm going to put down Shirley Purton and Ryan Hampton, and those, as soon as I get to the list, so you're more towards the bottom, so please be patient. Whoa. Okay, Kaylee. You have a job offer or something? There's something about a job. What do you want her to know? And if there's some people that are very egotistical, and it's all about me, 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 me. And so that's going to, and they're saying that you can be drawn to people that have that habit. It's all about them, and you're attached to this energy because it happened to you at 3. So you are projecting this to happen because at 3 you felt very awkward and you felt very discouraged, but at the same time they guided you into doing something. And you're like, oh, okay. But your trade-off, and if I were to pull a card, an archetype, that would be the saboteur, no, the prostitute card. And that means that you're selling yourself short, okay? It just means that you're worth more than what you get put through. Oh, your mother's crying. What is that about? That just shot up. Certain pain that maybe your mother has, you're taking it on as well. How does she turn the timer on? Okay. You're trying to reach somebody and they can't hear you. Give it patience, give it time. So in your inner world, the thing I would tell you is that you have an arrested development that with what I had just told you because you're worried. And why are you worried? That you're going to be scorned. So if you were to feel that you're going to be scorned or worried for standing up, speaking out, doing whatever, you need to break that pattern that we just said. And when that happens, then you should be able to change that inner world so that the outer world, so those people that you see are not stepping up to get the healed, they'll begin to change in that direction. They're not going to change the way they look until you change that program inside, because they are your biggest mirror. And so you need to really tackle that awkwardness when it comes to people like that are at work, those lofty people. You do a lot of self-talk that puts you into that hell that happens. Okay? What chakra? Your third chakra and your back. It's the will. So you don't have the will, so you need that energy. So you just, it's holding on to that pain. Okay? All right. So it's going to ring. I already gave you a few seconds already longer. Robin Schultz. So it is the backdrop that's causing all that. All right. I'll figure out the soundproofing. So it is still kind of muffled. But it is better than it was before. That's good to know. I'm going to write Angelo down for reading, but you have to wait your turn. I got a lie here. Okay. Robin. Didn't I say this before? I hear Skip to Maluma, darling. And you're referring to what? When you're 1 year old? You had developed a habit out of this, and they want you to look at that habit. And a particular habit has to do with the way your lymphatic system, what about it? In your arms. Oh. Okay, how do I put this? You have to look at something in very particular. It's called twisted revenge, and that is when a child thinks that if I, how would you feel if I died? Okay, so it's not that you're putting it out there, but your lymphatics are not moving in your arms very well. They're not getting movement, and they're not being able to reach out. That's what they're referring to. So as a child, there's a part of you that might have thought, let's see what happens if I do this. See how you feel if I do this. You've got to remember you're 1 year old, but it's the emotion is trapped into your body. And it's very important that you remove that child's hystericalness that you had at that time. Okay? Um, yes, Camilla, you are on the list. All right, so now we're going to look at Brenda Dreyer. Brenda Dreyer. Oh, what is up with this? Okay, now the headache came back. Something about seeing. It's about seeing. All of a sudden, where are we going? They said that the part, the general in your body, what about it? It's the way that the energy is being held. Did you get a flu shot? Did you get a shot? Did you just get a dental shot? They're saying something that entered your bloodstream. It could even be perfume. You wear it on your skin, it seeps through. That's why I won't wear chemical perfume. Oh, are you talking about something in the house? No. Stay away from all those fake smells too. It's something because they said that it's affecting you, and right now it is the way that your body's processing. It's still trying to process out, and all I can tell you is that there's a part of you, if we were to pull that aside, no, it's connected to it. All right, they said it lives through others. Take a look at that. Do you live through others? Do people say, hey, do this? And you're like, okay, I'm here. Maybe you have to be a great mother, any of that stuff. Okay. I'm going to put down Angela Allen as well. You're on the bottom of the list. And we're going to go to, all right, that's that name I can't pronounce. It's Rahina. And then it goes, I think, of course, I wrote it completely wrong. Starts with an I and H or something like that. Okay. Remember, share, you get a card. Hit like, you get a card. Other people's energies, you, okay, here we go. That person, Rahana, other people's energies. Somehow you pick them up, but you become very self-conscious. And somehow you feel like it restricts you from, does it have to do with looks? No. So sort of. I swear you heard somebody when you were very young. Isn't she the cutest thing? There was it didn't set right. Something, because they said at 3 years old it was something you didn't like that, and I'm not going to be it. Like when somebody told me they didn't want to be girly, so they just said, I refuse to have pink, because they were insulted by whoever it was that mentioned it, even though it was okay. So they stopped themselves from being who they are based on whoever it was opinion at that time, so long ago. But it's still like in your space. So just become aware that if you know the person, tap that person out of your head. If you don't know that person, just become aware that you feel other people's thoughts, but don't take them as value. Just consider the source. That's there. Don't take offense to it, okay? All right. Pamela Flora. I haven't hit enter yet. But okay. Well, all I can tell you is the trees look more clear. There seems to be more light coming through. They said that there has been the communication of the trees. There's grief work. Okay. So there's some grief in that particular part of the clearing. And that is when it's not from the storms, not from the loss of any of that. It was when you're talking about a long time ago. You're talking about the land when it was. So is it in that space? It's coming from the portals. You need to, kind of just do something with that energy of love in that area. Help clean out the grief, because somehow it collects grief. Okay, it's like magnet pulling it in. It's not both portals, there's only one. And they said if you were to aim at your front of your garage door, look straight out, it's the one on the left. Is that right? No, sorry. The one on the right. Yeah, it's the one on the right. Because you got like two that seems to be out in that direction. Back of the house. Good. Yes. That makes sense. Okay. So, next person is, I'm going to picture this into Sivan. That's Shivan. Shadra or Chadra. I'm going, if I have time. Right now I'm putting Nikki Ganga, if I can even write. That's how you pronounce half of these. Okay. Shivan Chadra. It's Shivan. I don't know if you like fairies or puppets or muppets. I see all these things of that are hanging. What's that even about? Um, there's a habit. So you're talking about um, something she collects, something that's being collected, something that's being collected. And they're showing that you have a lot of wonderful interest in them, but this habit um, became overflowing, and there's a part of you. Okay, so your soul's asking, why do I do it? Um, because at one point somebody exerted their energy and criticized you and what you did or whatever it was, and you became very muddled and muddled instability. So the emotions, you weren't able to handle that emotion. And what happened was that you become obsessed with collecting certain things because it helps you calm. See, it's a form of habit. And they said that you need to heal that particular pattern, especially how when people have that overexertion of energy, you feel very self-conscious about it. What else? Um, some people have been complaining, maybe, and you feel guilty for having that. But it could be just your soul telling you that it needs you to heal that particular uh, habit. Okay, Candy Esley. Candy Esley. Wow, I don't know why, but I'm starving. I'm like hungry. It's so hungry it causes all this issues in my stomach. Oh my God, it's just literally okay. So we're going into the area of it isn't hunger. You're depriving yourself of something to achieve something, but it's based on worry. Without realizing it, you worry. So you worry in order so that something bad won't happen. So do you do the worst case? Yeah, no. Yeah, you do the worst case, but there's something that's about worry. Um, 1 year old, you took on somebody's worry, and now you think it's your own. So when that that follows you, that's hooked into a habit. Uh, it's like you worry for others because they're not worrying about it. But that initial worry is lodged in your body. It's not yours in the first place. It's somebody else's. And they're saying that if you were to look, you picked up other people's depression, and it's lodged in you. Um, you can feel it in the environment, the other people's stuff. So you may have to do, I would think, start to do finger in your belly button and your forehead, push in and lift up, and that is a hookup. And a zip up is if you zipped up the front and the back of your central and your governing meridian. Okay, it's really important to do that. Okay, I think it's Doreen Wagner, something like that. Jurin, and WAG something at the end. Okay. Remember, if anybody's new, if I can't get to you, you understand that you can get a card if you share, and card if you like or love. Doreen, you haven't been dancing. You have all this music in your soul and you're not hearing it. You're not dancing. There is a way to loosen up, and they're saying put some blindfold on, put some music on, preferably put the music on first, and put the blindfold on and dance. You're going to have to begin to loosen up that physical body um, because that energy feels stagnant in parts of your body. And when you dance with blindfold, it allows the energy to flow through your right brain. It allows it to come into the body and it allows it to flow out into your space. And I feel like you've restricted yourself for such a long time that the everyday demands, the under pressure demands, uh, you need to find an outlet, and that is maybe even just get some headphones with music and just start dancing, start to get to the rhythm. Your soul wants to sing again, your soul wants to dance again, it wants to move. Literally, it wants to move. It says that it just feels like it's been jammed. And because there was that particular failure that you had, especially at 22, and that seems to control the way you listen to the rhythm of your soul. It literally begins to feel like there's a particular outcome you want to pick up. No, it's like you're forced to always repeat a particular outcome. And there's a part of you that's kind of uh, feeling stuck doing the repeat. If that makes any sense. Oh, thank goodness, Candy. That's a lot. Okay, so dreams start dancing. I think that I wrote down Melissa Foster. Melissa Foster. Oh, my sinuses. I don't know if you have. Oh God. Do you have the sinus issues? No. Do you have allergies? You have intolerances. You have intolerances. It's when you begin to intolerate people's emotions. No, certain cooking utensils. Uh, you may, if you're cooking with a cast iron pan, no, it's fine. But if it has a coating, a Teflon coating, any of those devices, understand, do not have them around birds because it'll kill them. But that same fumes, your body's like, I can't tolerate this anymore. So you may use it, not know it, but you may all of a sudden cough, or you may start to feel crampy. Something your body is doing to respond to you to let you know that that fumes is getting to you. So put a fan on if you're going to use your electrical devices. Um, put it so there's an exhaust fan, or have a window open, or use a stove. But there's something about the coating on those pans, even when they wear off, there's just some type of a coating. It's really, they say it, and then when you go into smaller spaces, even though you don't have Teflon pans, you end up developing that, oh, I'm like, if you go into somebody's kitchen, you have to start coughing. It's like you're picking up the pattern, moving it into wherever you're at. Um, so just be aware that however your body's responding to it, and it's just your body saying, oh, I don't like it. Okay? Camilla, I think it was Martinez or something like that. Camilla. Uncertain. What are you uncertain about? You're uncertain what I'm going to say, but it's okay. There's a part of a depressed feeling that seems to have a structural pattern, as to say you have a routine. Um, and what's interesting about that is that depressed feeling is something that you need. Yes. To avoid something? No. To draw you to manage cook? No. It is to copy. So there's a part of you that learned growing up at the age of 2.5, this is what it means to be an adult. So you're doing this just out of watching the environment. Do you have anything really to be depressed about? You could, yeah, there could be lots, but not really. That first initial pattern to say that you have to behave that way is really not yours. Um, you can heal that out. It's very important because they said that you have a visual picture in your left, upper left, you have a visual picture. And if you were to look at that picture, not to the right, because that's destruction, but to look to the left and just kind of, if you do remember somebody, then you can tap that out with EFT, um, because that is like a root there. You're unclear about something. What are you unclear about? Just taking the action. There, you can do healing tools. Just let you know, it is, if you go to my other website, it is, don't use www because it doesn't work. You have to put in medicine woman for you .weebly. Oops, spelled that wrong. Weebly.com, and you look under healing, and then it'll go healing tools, and then a whole drop down menu of healing tools is here, and those are free. I'm going to double check. I don't think anybody paid for reading, but it's always important to look. Nope. Okay. Emma McCubbin. Emma. You need to be clear and precise. I don't know if somebody was always teaching you this, but it's about being clear and concise. I'll have to fix the audio issue some other time. Can't do it right now. So you were accused of not listening. Did you have issues with it? You had. But being accused, you hadn't forgotten that. So it's an accused feeling? Yes. They say there's a part of it that you feel like people are going to do that, so you have an anxiety that's like built in. And you got to do it what's right and wrong, because you have to be clear and concise. And I feel like that was more pushed you into being who you are than who you really are. You're being somebody else's life right now. And it caused a lot of compatibility issues with people. And straight out, there's a part of you that just don't trust you just don't trust, because you don't know what type of right and wrong they have. Okay. Okay. The next person on the list is Curly Putin, Harton. I can't remember how I spelled your last name, but it was P-U something. Okay. I think there's an emptiness. Not just an emptiness, there's a whistling. I'm hearing all kinds of weird things happening. What's happening? What is this? The structure, physical? Where she observes, there's a bell going off. Oh, that's why there's a, and the bell, there's a hidden habit. And what's the bell about? The bell is about being demoralized, not being considered. And that's ringing. And the bell of demoralized, you can heal that out by use a magnet or your hand and just roll out 3 times. Bell, demoralized, bell, demoralized, bell, demoralized. But the hidden habit that came out of it is you can't let anybody know. But you have to own your power, because there's a part of you that wants to move forward, and you don't realize it. that it's like that's what's holding you back. You know, it's like I can't stand people. And then, hey, you need to work with people. You got to heal that real part of you. There's a, oh, don't tell me I messed that up. The first name is Ryan, and I think it had a letter H. Ryan with an H. I screwed that up. You know, the thing is when you're right brained, or Hampton, that's it. Ryan Hampton. When you're right brained and you're channeling through, and you have to bring it left brain, and that's the writing and math. It's not easy sometimes. That's why a lot of times we have readers that have issues too, because it's the bringing through process. Ryan Hampton. Ryan Hampton. I feel like we're not here. They're looking at the vulnerability personality, and they said they want you to step into the ring. That means you need to have the courage. In order for you to really achieve the seat you're made out of, you need to get up, be vulnerable enough to say, I'm going after it, get into the ring, and see what you're made of. That has the courage. And when you do those two things, you're going to be able to overcome. Now, if you're holding back and having vulnerability because you were hurt, then you need to heal the hurt. But they're saying more or less you have energy that when you go to do something, your body reacts and says, oh, we can't. So that's a compulsion that goes with it. There's a specific healing for that. I don't have it on the free tool, but you can, your body literally goes, you know, I don't want to do this. It's like when you get nervous before you get on stage or any of that stuff. You can disrupt that. Okay? Because it's stored as pain. They're saying it's stored as pain. Now, the pain may not be physical pain, but the way it's stored is it's stored into the body, which can cause some form of discomfort, if that makes any sense. Angelo and I think it's Antonym. Are you here? Because let's see, we have 123. All right, Angelo. You were not considered. You were demoralized, and so you're carrying that pattern. So you may not be considered for a particular job or different things. You're carrying how certain people are demoralized. It's that not considered. It's an energy that follows you around. So if you want to start achieving your goals, you need to get rid of how you know that energy, because they said that now it's just a habit. And what happens when you put that in your energy field, it runs like a GPS, and so that has to be met first. So sometimes opportunities will look like they pass you by, and it's just an energy field. Tap that out. So you've tried many different avenues, they're saying, different perspectives of how to approach this, how to change it, but somehow the habit keeps coming back around. And now you can understand why. You just need to fill that out. You take the word and literally remove it. That's how you know it. Did you do it to yourself? No, it's how other people. That's how you also respond to how people are lofty. So you will make sure that you're not even considered if you have people that are too lofty in their energy field. You'll bow out of the situation, if that makes any sense. Okay, they're saying that You don't realize it, but the awkwardness sets down to the hips, the hip area, and it's moving forward. And you literally, I think, you restrict your hips so that, like, if you were to dance, they don't move. If you want to run, they don't really move. If that makes any sense. Okay, so that one. Angela Allen. Angela Allen. Mm. So when you look into the mirror, what do you tell yourself? Are you able to say you love yourself, or do you even see yourself in the mirror? Do you just look and do what you need to do without really engaging with the woman in the mirror? Because there's a habit of not being able to put yourself in the picture of your um, when other people's energies around you, kind of get lost in their energy field, and they're saying it's time to hold your power, and when you go into the room, you need to expand your energy out so that it could change the energy in the room into a more favorable energy instead of you having to feel like you need to change. They say that you have invading energy of panic that affects your aura. Now, other people's panic will affect your aura. And literally, do you like it? No, you dislike it. So it's like there's an intolerance to that, and therefore it starts to change the frequency just a little. Okay? Oh, fear of failure. Okay, so when you go and stand up to be who you are, you have another program that says, this ain't going to work. And that's not even true, because this is something you picked up and watch people do, saying this is what an adult is that you have to fail. Now, failure is just another way to approach it. Failure is so much needed to find out what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, and how, it's so failure is an awesome thing because it helps redirect you to where you need to go. And it makes you become a master at it. Okay? All right. So now we're going to move on to Nikki. Nikki DeGagan. Nikki. Let's see, 127. So with that, do you swim? Do you like water? Because all of a sudden I'm in a pool of water. I'm bobbing, okay, I'm doing that. I don't know if you feel free or you need to go near water. They said that there's a habit, though, of isolating yourself. Why? Why do you need to know that? Because you don't want to feel. So you don't have to. So she doesn't have to be who she was. So does she have to behave a certain way? And she don't want to do that. So what is it that you don't want to do? You don't want to live through other people's genders and stories, and you're done with that, actually, and you're not sure how else to stop it. And your inner world is saying that you have to be right and wrong all the time according to whoever's standing before you with their agenda, and you have to live up to that, and it gets very tiring. So you got to just stop saying, I'm going to do that. You're going to follow your right and wrong, and you're going to feel how the compulsion to go into that field. So literally disrupt that pattern, disrupt the energy. And it'd be nice if I turn the clickers on, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. They're saying that you have a deep memory of it, and you saw it, and now you modeled it, and you behaved it, and there's a part of you that believes it. And when you get into a space with certain people, you resonate and have to become that field. You're like, I don't really. It's great that you know how to adapt, but you're losing a lot of power from what I can see. And it's a lesson of the second chakra and the back, which is about your will. So it's about how do you relate to others, and the will to be able to walk right now, the will to Accept yourself as you are when you're with these people. So, are you able to be you in front of these people? Can you really be you? And if you can't, then you need to notice that you go in the energy of discouragement, and then there's this little bit of panic with a little bit of lofty energy about that, and so you redirect yourself into adapting into their stories and their beliefs and you emotionally repressed what being hopeful. Okay, it's important you understand these patterns and just change them. Joseph, oh, I wrote that person's name down. I think it was Josephine. I don't even know. Josephine, let me see if I can find you. Rock, Josephine Rock. Yes, yes. Josephine, their way or the highway. Everybody seems to have to. This is very. It's like comes to the side of my head, and then etherically, energetically, you pick up. No, you already know what they want because they expressed it and spelled it out to you. If that makes sense. You can feel their broadcast energy before they open up their mouth. You seem to be attracted to those people that have a broadcast energy. What about it? You attract yourself to what's familiar because to feel the unknown is very foreign to you. It's like you haven't been allowed to ever feel who you really are. So if you take medicine or any form of drug, understand that's going to alter um, so that you can adjust to things, but it takes you out of your body and changes the field of the way the energy is, and it can really affect you. And I forgot to turn it on again. I'll give you another 30 seconds. This is silly of me. Oh, you're late by an hour and a half. Since I didn't put the timestamp on, or didn't turn the timer on, I'm still doing the reading feed. That they're saying just thing that wow, you have somebody that's like, is it here in front of me? You have to feel like a monster. Does somebody show up in your life like a monster to you? Viewed through a 9-year-old's eyes, I guess it would be. Um, and it was real, it wasn't imagined. You determined something. What did you determine? That you can't have a voice. You mean you lost your voice. The voice in that is the power to say no, or the the ability. Okay, so you there's some type of thing that you're doing that you know you don't want to do anymore and it needs to change. But when you're around other humans, that kind of persuades you into giving you information that you think is appropriate, if that makes any sense. They do tell you what you want to hear to some degree, but they also tell you things to get you to behave a certain way. It's a cycle that your soul says it wants to stop. It's, it says, I'm done. I just want it to stop. I'm done. And the energy like comes through spirit and gets stuck. can't really bring the energy into your body properly. Okay. All right, so it's an hour and a half into it. We did quite a few people, and there seems to be problems with the volume. I think we kind of figured it out. It's the backdrop. Any the people that are here that you didn't get a reading, understand, you share and I will give you a card. You like, you get another card. So you can get up to 2 cards to help you receive a message from your loved ones, from spirit, that can help guide you. Okay? Now, David, while you're here, what do you hear? Do you hear me being muffled because we've had issues with volume yesterday? You said you thought you heard a fan. Somebody else said that tonight. I feel that it's my backdrop that's doing it. I did put a sound barrier up that I best I could do during the show. So I'm going to have to rethink about how this backdrop for me is not sounding correctly. It's okay. You always can rewatch it. All right. Thank you all. You are wonderful people. I thank you for showing up. And I will be back next Monday and Tuesday for another set of shows. And hopefully I'll have better computer sound that's fixed so that we can all enjoy this better. All right. Share away. Find me on YouTube to watch the repeat of it. You can find me on my fan page. Hit like. All right. Stay blessed.